found out that my girlfriend has been sleeping with her boss. My head has been spinning since last night and I don't really know what my next moves are. Some background info. My girlfriend and I have been together for 2 years. No kids, but we moved into a new place in October and signed a 1-year lease. I'm 30 and she's 28. About a year ago, she started working at this new job that she absolutely loves. It pays good and she's made some new friends there. In December, during their office Christmas party, I got to meet her boss for the first time, and it was very obvious to me and probably anyone with eyes he's attracted to her. It made me uncomfortable, but she didn't give him any more attention than she did anyone else, so I didn't think anything more about it. Last month, she got a raise, a significant one that even she was surprised about. She said she spoke to her boss and he said it's for her performance. She accepted that answer. I didn't. I told her he's obviously attracted to her and that's why she got this raise. She got angry and accused me of saying she doesn't work hard. We had a huge fight about it and I ended up spending the night on the couch. We didn't speak for 2 days and I ended up apologizing but asked her to just watch out for this guy. On Friday, we had gone to a friend's house for drinks and dinner and my girlfriend kept checking her phone and whispering with one of her girlfriends. I got a sinking feeling but tried to ignore it because I didn't want to cause a scene in front of our friends. On the way home, I asked her who kept texting her all night and she said a friend from work. And when I asked who, she said, "Why does that matter?" and got really defensive, so again, I dropped it. Saturday morning while she was still sleeping, I decided to go through her phone and I found hundreds of text messages between her and her boss. Very inappropriate text messages and pictures. Honestly, I wanted to throw up. I took a couple of screenshots and looked at the conversations with the friend from the party who knows this has been going on and was just gutted. She told her friend he's the best she's ever been with. They talked about how the initial raise was to get her interest and he's been giving her bonuses. And apparently most, if not everyone at the office knows about them sleeping together. I took screenshots of everything and deleted the proof that I sent them to myself. I haven't confronted her about anything yet. I can't even look at her right now. I know she knows something is wrong, but she isn't talking to me either. I know the only logical answer is to break up with her, but I have a lease that I can't afford on my own. I don't know what to do. I'm so incredibly disgusted and heartbroken. I'm angry at her and myself. I feel like I saw all the red flags that this was happening and ignored every one of them. So what you do, okay, you get all of that proof and screenshot and you can call her HR anonymously and say, "Hey, there is some shady business going around. They're sleeping together and he's giving her all these bonuses." And you have proof of that and they both get fired because that is a big HR no-no. Am I wrong for pausing my husband's game because he wouldn't give our baby a bath on time? I, 23 female, paused the internet on every single device in the apartment because my husband, 23 male, refused to get off of the game and give our 8-month son a bath on time. I know this sounds like you're the asshole, but let me explain. There's a lot of background information that went into this decision. My husband does not help with the household whatsoever. Doesn't wash dishes, do laundry, clean any room of the house, cook dinner, etc. He'll get home and throw off his uniform onto the floor and leave it there until the next day. If the house is dirty, he'll chide me and tell me that I don't do anything, I don't clean enough, and I don't cook enough dinner. Our biggest issue is the baby. I am the main caretaker for our son 99.9% of the time. I get up with him during the night when he wakes up crying. My husband will here and there, but he'll start screaming at me about how he needs his rest and I need to get up. If our son is sick, I'm the one that takes off work. Wait, you work too? I was thinking you're a stay-at-home mom this whole time. What the heck? You're doing all this? Oh, girl. You know what I'm gonna say. You deserve better. I've missed almost 6 weeks of work in the past 3 months because my husband wouldn't even ask his supervisor if he could stay home one of those days. I'm the one that gets up at 6 a.m. and stays with our son until about 12 to 1 p.m. And that's when I tell my husband he needs to get up and take care of the baby so I can take a nap. Once I get up, he complains that I've been sleeping all day while he's been taking care of the baby by himself and I'm lazy. I recently got promoted to E5 after being up 3 times in a row and taking a hard exam that I studied for. What is E5? Google Malolo fast. E5, E5, E5. Oh, okay, it's a military rank. Okay. My husband unfortunately didn't make it this time around and is still in E3 and he blames me for it, saying if he didn't have to transfer after a year at his previous command, he would have made it. My husband told me that it's not a surprise that I made it because my job is easy and all we do is sit at computers all day while he works out in the sun and cold on equipment. I'm in intelligence and he's got a manual labor job. Then he'll joke around and say he didn't mean to be rude, but this is a constant thing he does. I paused the game tonight because every night we feed our son and give him a bath at 7 p.m. on the dot. He's always had this routine. After I fed the baby, I told my husband that it was time for the bath, after I already laid out all the baby supplies and clothes for after the bath. And my husband told me to just sit the baby down in the playpen until he's done with the game. I gently told him no, that it's bedtime and I wasn't going to shift our son's routine so he could play the game for an extra half hour and my husband needs to learn to prioritize. I then paused the game and my husband flew off the handle, threatening to break my phone and refused to give our son a bath and called me lazy for not doing it instead. My husband literally hops on the game and plays it from the moment he wakes up to the moment he goes to sleep. Am I the asshole? Okay, wrong title. This is a help. How do I leave my husband post? This is not okay. Everything you've said is not normal. It's not okay. This is also abuse. It's hard to see when you're in it, but this is abusive. Oh, she has a small update and she goes, update. My husband just came into the bedroom and told me he wants a divorce because he's sick of my shit. LOL. There you go. Problem solved. My husband cheated on me and I don't know what to do because I have nothing. My husband and I are both 27 and have been married for 7 years. We weren't close, but we were in the same group of friends in college. We ended up sleeping together one night and I got pregnant. My husband said that he would take care of the baby, but my parents forced me to get married and he accepted. My husband and I at the same time went to live with my in-laws. They were not so nice to me. I had to leave university because I had to help at home with the chores. My husband worked and studied at the same time. With my husband, after we felt comfortable with each other, we started treating each other like husband and wife, calling each other honey, love, and things like that. I was stupid and got pregnant quickly again. After so much trouble with his parents, we went to live in a small apartment. Now I have a 7-year-old girl and a 6-year-old boy. My husband has a good job and earns quite well. We are living in a large apartment, but we are planning to move into a house early next year. Intimacy with my husband has been dead for almost 1.5 years since he arrives late and or very tired from work. Besides, about 6 months ago, he was promoted at work and he has to travel from time to time. He left his Facebook on his laptop and I checked him, and he's been having an affair with his coworker. I don't know for how long exactly, since he only has conversations from about 3 weeks ago, so I guess he deletes the conversations. I sent the evidence to my email and that night I told him. I also told my husband that if he wanted to be with someone else, why he didn't just ask me for a divorce. My husband started making meaningless excuses and ended up saying that he didn't want to separate and that he didn't want to lose his family. He said this has been happening for 2 years. I told him this was something he had to think about before being unfaithful and that I wanted a divorce. We haven't talked since. That was a 1.5 weeks ago. He's avoiding me from bringing up the topic of divorce or cheating, I guess. But I think that now I'm regretting the divorce because if we separate, I have nothing. I have no university studies. I have never worked, so my work experience is 0. I have savings that are left over from my monthly expenses, but it is not much even though I manage correctly. Should I go ahead with a divorce? My children are in school now, so there are more expenses to cover. I can't complain about my husband in this regard. Technically, the only problem is that he was unfaithful. Besides, I think I really understand, because we wouldn't be together if it weren't for me getting pregnant, and the fact that we behave like husband and wife does not make the fact that he has to love me or cherish me as anything more than the mother of his children. The only thing I don't understand is why he doesn't want a divorce. What do I do? Do I suggest some kind of co-parenting relationship or something? I guess he doesn't want to have to spend less time with the kids or something. Okay, let me explain to you why he doesn't want a divorce, okay? Men want to have that perfect family image. Father of 2 beautiful kids, stay-at-home wife, all that. That will not stop them from going out and having a side piece. They want the best of both worlds. Because if he divorces you, this is going to spread and he's going to be labeled as a cheater. But if you stay with him, you're not going to tell anyone that he cheated on you because you have nothing. You know you're stuck in this. Honestly, I would go back to school. Your kids are old enough. Try to get yourself on your own 2 feet and then leave. It's really scary and I just hope you make the right decision for yourself because it sucks. Am I wrong for how I reacted after I found out my husband ran a secret background check on me before we got married? I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a background check on someone you plan on marrying and combining assets and having children with. Whether you tell them or not, I don't think it's a big deal. I would tell him, yeah, my parents want a background check as much as I do. And if you have a problem with that, that's a red flag, in my opinion. We've been married for 3 years and I only just found out recently that before we got married, my husband ran a background check on me and my family. I found out because we were on vacation with his family and they were doing things I had no interest in participating in a few times, so I stayed behind. He let me borrow his laptop because I left mine at home. I made a folder with my name and I was searching for it when I found another folder with my name. The folder was full of reports on me, my family, including extended family, and 2 of my childhood friends. I read as much of the reports as I could before my husband and his family came home for the day. At first, I was just heard he would do something like this without talking to me first, but as I read more and started finding out things about my family and friends that I never ever knew, I started to get angry. It's hard to put into words, but I felt like I had gone cold all over, but also like it wasn't me reading these things. So when I saw my husband, I exploded on him in front of his family. At first, he tried to say it wasn't a big deal, and his cousin chimed in to say it was normal and he wasn't the only one who had done it in their family. When he saw it wasn't coming down, he tried to get me to go into our room so we could talk about it privately, but I told him I wasn't going anywhere with him and I was leaving. My husband told me to stay and he would sleep somewhere else or he would leave, but we are staying in a house owned by his parents and it felt weird for me to stay and make him leave, especially since his family were there too. I ended up staying at a hotel for the night and we both flew home shortly after that, cutting the vacation short. So, am I the asshole? Extended family is a stretch on that person for sure. When people do it for jobs, no problem. Background check me. But when you're marrying them, now you have a problem with it? Would you have cared if he had told you? I honestly don't think it's a big deal.
Am I in the wrong for cropping my sister-in-law out of my wedding photos after she said that she looked fat? My wife, 27 female, and I, 28 male, recently got married and it was amazing. The wedding was set on a riverside farm, so we had photo shoots outside on the fields before the ceremony. We started taking photos around noon and my sister-in-law, 30 female, was one of the bridesmaids. Sister-in-law has always been a negative person since I met her, always trying to make small judgmental comments, while my wife is an incredibly kind person. They have very different personalities, so I never question why they aren't close and assume that my sister-in-law was included in her group of bridesmaids to appease my wife's parents. Because sister-in-law and my wife have never been close, she was at the end of the line of bridesmaids and usually was at the edges of the group photos. While taking the photos, sister-in-law was the only person complaining about things like the sunny weather and how her dress was absorbing heat. I don't know much about dresses, but it was about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Most people in the photo shoot group ignored her comments, and it wasn't an issue for the rest of the day. We got the photos of both the shoot and the ceremony from the photographer 3 weeks after the wedding. We promptly sent the photos to the people in the photo shoot and told them that we plan on using the photos on social media. Most people thanked us for the photos, but my sister-in-law called my wife and was very angry, yelling that she looked like a fat pig in every photo she was in and demanded that we not use any of the photos with her in them. For context, sister-in-law is bigger than my wife, but not to an extreme extent. She doesn't look unhealthy and I've never heard her have body issues before, but I admittedly wouldn't know much about it. In the wedding photos, she really doesn't look any different from her normal self. My wife tried to reason with her, saying that she looks just as pretty as everyone else, but sister-in-law did not want to hear it. She reiterated that if we use any of the photos on social media, that she would never speak to us again and would put us on blast, whatever that means. My wife was really hurt by my sister's outburst, and I was very bothered that she thought that she could tell us what to do with our special moment. Here's where I might be the a-hole. I decided that if she had such a problem, she didn't need to be in the photos. I cropped her out and posted those versions to social media. I thought it would be fine and it was easy since she was at the edge anyway. After posting, she then called me even angrier than before and accused me of trying to erase her from the memory of the wedding. I told her that I only did it to accommodate her wishes while also getting to use our own wedding photos. She hasn't talked to us in a week, and my wife's parents are mad at us for upsetting her. While my wife is on my side, she thinks that I could have been more mature about it. I don't think I did anything wrong and accommodated her already unreasonable request. So, am I in the wrong?